member for Communities, Equalities and Finance at Southwark Council, and I'm the lead member on our cost of living, response to the cost of living crisis. Before we start, I just wanted to do a few housekeeping bits and pieces for you. So first of all, the reason for the meeting today is that we will be hearing from some very key speakers who are right at the coalface in helping supporting residents through the cost of living crisis around that. We also will be having some time with the panel for you to ask any questions that you wish to. And can I ask that if you have any questions at the top of your screen or at the bottom of your screen, you should have a little icon that says Q&A, and you can type your questions in there, and we will come back. We will gather those questions and theme them up, and I will be asking our panel members later on some of the questions that you're asking around that. I also want to let you know that we will be recording this today so that you are able, if you miss anything or there's anything you want more clarification on, that you can watch it on our YouTube channel in the future as well. So, and I would say thank you all for taking your time this evening to come and listen to what is really a very important subject and something that is our top priority as a council. We know that the cost of living crisis is hitting many of you and many of your neighbours and friends really, really hard. And it comes on the back of a decade of austerity and also the COVID pandemic. And actually, we know that people's resilience because of austerity and because of COVID has just been worn away, and the cost of living crisis is having a really detrimental impact on our residents, not just now, but will be in the future. So what we really want to do today is to say what help and support is available there. There is a lot of help and support available. Actually, much more than an hour's webinar could actually pull together. We're really keen as a local authority, as a council, to be able to help in whatever way we can. And as you can see behind me and on the screen, we've got our Here to Help logo, and our Here to Help is on our website. And if you go onto our website, you can click on that sign and it takes you to everything you need to know about what support is available for you during this cost of living crisis. So what are we doing? Well, we have really took this to heart, and we have 4 key strands that we're working on to help support residents. The first is around help paying bills. It's really, really important that we want to give help and support to as many people as possible. So just to give you an example of a few things that we've done, we've already paid out £25 million worth of support to local households in greatest need through our Southwark Cost of Living Fund. We set up a Cost of Living Fund specifically for this purpose, and that will continue into next year as well. We're also helping residents understand and claim all of the means tested benefits that they're entitled to, and making sure that people are maximising their income through that as well. We've also established, and we're launching tomorrow, a new Southwark Energy Savers Advice Service, helping residents find the right support they need to help reduce their energy bills, but also to look at things like income maximisation, making sure people are getting what they're entitled to through the benefit system as well. We've also done a campaign around pension credit, making sure that people who are entitled to pension credit are signing up for it, because some of the government initiatives around helping with fuel bills, actually, if you're eligible for and are receiving pension credit, you actually get more financial support. So it's really important we're targeting people to make sure that they're getting the financial support that they're actually entitled to around that as well. Our next key strand is around warmer, greener homes. We know that the more energy efficient a home is, the cheaper it is to run around that. So we're building 1,000 new energy efficient and affordable homes by 2026 to reduce energy costs, but also to improve well-being. We're improving the energy efficiency of our existing council homes across the borough as well, where possible, with raising the EPC rating as high as possible. We're working with private sector landlords to improve the energy efficiency standards of their housing stock, and we're also tackling those landlords who fail to maintain those standards in the private rented sector as well, making sure that we're tackling those who do not keep their homes to the minimum energy standards. We're also right to food borough. We're funding a free healthy school meal offer for all nursery and primary school pupils. We're actually running food and holiday programmes of healthy food and activities for school-age children and families experiencing hardship. And as I said, we're making Southwark a right to food borough through council policy and through public health initiatives and through our community partnerships. And we continue continue to lobby government to have a right to food enshrined in law. And finally, we know that a decent day, people should receive a decent day's pay for a decent day's work, and we're looking at how we can provide more and better jobs. So we're upskilling our residents by creating 2,000 new apprenticeships and 3,000 new training opportunities. We're helping residents who are struggling to find work through our Southwark Works free support, and we were the first living wage borough in the UK, and we're building on that by working with local employers to become living wage employers and provide and paying living wage to as many people and as many residents in the borough as possible. Now, that's a very quick whistle-stop tour of what we're providing, but you will hear more about this as the evening goes on. And I would like to now just hand over to Eugene Nixon, who is the Head of Strategy and Compliance at Southwark Council, and Brendan Mihayo, who's the Service Development Officer in the Exchequer team, and they're going to be telling you a little bit about the financial support from the council and government.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cryan. I'm pleased to be joined this evening by my colleague Brenda, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brenda Mihayo, and I'm going to tell you about the work that the council did earlier this year to provide financial support to households. All Southwark households are affected by the cost of living crisis, but some are affected more than others, with those on the lowest incomes most vulnerable. What households need most urgently is help with bills. Doing all we can to meet that need has been the council's priority this year. And this year, the council has provided almost £25 million in extra income support to Southwark households, with most support going to those on the lowest income. More than 20,000 households received support worth £1.2 million through the Southwark Energy Support Fund between January and March. In the spring and summer, more than £15 million was paid to well over 100,000 households as council tax rebates. 100% of eligible households received a £150 rebate, 9 in 10 receiving their payment in cash. A new £5 million Southwark Cost of Living Fund was announced after May's election, and more than 30,000 households had received support by the end of September, including payments of between £120 and £270 to low-income households, holiday-free school bills for more than 14,000 eligible children attending Southwark schools, and new uniform grants for parents of children transferring to Southwark Secondary School at more than double their normal value.
The Council provided all that support in the spring and summer in the absence of support from either the government or energy suppliers. That is changing this winter. Energy suppliers are now providing an energy price guarantee, capping energy prices so a household with average energy consumption should not have to pay any more than £2,500 this year. Additionally, anyone who pays for electricity will receive energy bill support this winter, a £400 discount to their bill in 6 instalments of £66 or £67 between October and March. If you pay for electricity using an electric meter, you should receive a voucher each month from your energy supplier. If you use a prepayment meter and have not received a voucher, you should contact your energy supplier right away. Finally, low-income households will receive a further discount of £150 in their electric bill through the Warm Home Discounts scheme between December and March. Please beware of scams. All this support from energy suppliers is provided automatically. If you receive a call or text suggesting you have to apply for this support, please do not act on it. It is a scam. The government is providing extra income support for pensioners, the disabled, and people claiming means-tested benefits this winter through the schemes mentioned on the slide. That support is being sent now and will be paid by December automatically. Payments will be made straight into the same bank account used to pay pensions or benefits. If you receive a pension or benefit, look out for it. If you think you should get a payment but have not received one by January, you can report a missing payment on the gov.uk website. The Southwark Cost of Living Fund will increase by £2.74 million this winter and target the most vulnerable. There will be 3 routes to support from the Southwark Cost of Living Fund this winter. First, some people will receive support from the fund automatically. For example, those receiving council-funded home care packages, some of our most vulnerable residents. Second, some people will be referred to the fund by our partners via what we call the community referral pathway. Those partners, too many to name individually, include schools, churches, community advice providers, emergency food providers, social landlords, after-school clubs, and a wide range of other community groups. The aim is to extend the reach of the fund, especially to those who are outside the benefit system and less likely to be known to the council. People who may seek support in their community before turning to the council. We have set up We have set aside up to £1 million to meet the needs of those referred and have capacity to accept up to 10,000 referrals by the end of March. Third, to further extend the reach of the fund from January, any resident will be able to apply to the fund, ensuring the widest possible access to the fund after Christmas, which we know is often a particularly difficult time financially for families. We also want to ensure that more residents take advantage of existing forms of financial support. One group we are particularly concerned about is pension age residents whose only or main income is their state retirement pension and who would be entitled to extra financial help in the form of pension credit if they applied for it. More than 7,000 pension age residents at 66 or older already get pension credit, but we think there could be another 2,000 or 3,000 who don't, even though they're entitled to it. It's doubly important that people apply now, as a claim for pension credit will unlock some of the other government support I mentioned earlier.
The Council is working with partners including Age UK, Citizens Advice and Southwark Pension Centre to encourage more people to apply for pension credit. If you think you might be entitled, or if you know a family member or friends who might be, please encourage them to do so or to find out more. There is a wide range of support available from local and national sources, which I don't have time to cover this evening, but I would urge you to visit the Council website, Cost of Living Support Here to Help, and the Help for Households pages on gov.uk website. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Eugene and Brenda, and I hope people found that helpful. Before we move on to our next speaker, I just wanted to remind everybody that if you do have a question, please don't raise your hand, your virtual hand. There is a tab that says Q&A, and we would like you to type your question into that so we can then collate those questions for when we get onto our panel very shortly as well. So we won't see your hand because there are so many people on this webinar, which is absolutely brilliant and amazing. We won't see your hand if you put it up, so please do type any questions into that Q&A. I don't want people to feel we've missed you around that. It's just that we just can't see everybody who is on this call because of the sheer volume and numbers of people around that. So I'm now going to ask Tim Clark, who is the Strategic Support Coordinator at Citizens Advice Southwark, to tell us a little bit about the financial support that is being offered and the advice that's being offered through Citizens Advice Southwark.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cryan. Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk briefly about what Help Citizens Advice Southwark can give people and how you can get that help. So we provide advice on a large number of different areas, including debt, welfare benefits, housing, immigration, employment, and more. So if you've got problems with money or benefits or any of these other areas, please come to us for help. Now, you can get help from us in a number of different ways, and I'm going to share our website with you to show you how to do this. So I hope you can see that, but this is our homepage. And if you just Google Citizens Advice Southwark, this will come up top of the list, I promise. And you can see it has details of our 3 offices and when the drop-in sessions are that you can come and visit us at. And these are 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. 5 days a week at our Peckham office, 10 until 2 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at our Bermondsey office, and 10 until 2 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at our Walworth office. Now, if you could just click on where it says face-to-face, it will show these times again, together with a map of where the offices are and the buses that run to them for your convenience. Now, you can also connect with us over the phone, and if you scroll down a little bit further, you will see our advice line number and the opening hours. There you go. So the telephone number is 0808 278 7849, and that's actually available Monday to Friday from 9:30 until 4:30, and actually up until 7 p.m. on Tuesday evenings. And it's also a free phone number, so you don't have to worry about calling it from a mobile. And if you just scroll down a little bit further, you can see that you can also email us for advice through our website. All you need to do is to put your postcode into the box there, click on submit, and there will be a simple form for you to complete. And once we receive the form requesting advice, we'll call you back We aim to call you back within 2 working days. And the final section there, called Online Advice, provides links to the information website that National Citizens Advice has, which has lots of information which you can use as well. So if you just click on where it says debt, just to show you. And then under the heading dealing with urgent debts, if you click on dealing with rent arrears and private tenancies, essentially you'll see there's a whole host of important information about what to do if you're a private tenant in rent arrears. And there are hundreds of pages like that on this website. So if you just go back to our main website, and if you click on, actually no, that's fine. You can see for yourself that there's lots of different types of help that you can get from National Citizens Advice's website. Now, what will happen? What's going to happen when you contact us is that we will assess your issues and work out how best we can help you. If you need an appointment with an advisor, this will be provided, but you have to live, work or study in the borough for this. Now, in addition to our core service, we have many different projects helping people to deal with their financial and other legal worries. So, for example, we have a debt team who can advise you on any debt that you may have. And you can get an appointment with this team by calling our advice line, going to our drop-in or emailing us, and following which you'll be assessed. If you need specialist housing advice or you need specialist immigration advice, we have a housing solicitor and an immigration specialist, both of whom work under legal aid contracts. If you're a Southwark Council long leaseholder, we have a homeowners project which can assist with things like challenging annual service charges and major work payment demands. And we also have a number of new projects in the pipeline which are soon to go live. There's the Southwark Energy Savers Scheme. If you're struggling to pay your energy bills, struggling to keep your home warm due to low energy efficiency or lack of insulation, if you've got problems with your energy bill or your energy supply, then we can help you. And you can get help, this help, just by calling our advice line, going to one of our drop-ins or by emailing us. We also have a new Southwark Food Bank advice project, working with the main food banks in Southwark, including Pecan, Spring Community Hub, the Albrighton Community Fridge and the Borough Food Cooperative. You can get help from this project when you visit one of those food banks within the next few weeks or so. But essentially, if you need it, you can get help from any of our projects or services by simply calling our advice line number, dropping in to see us or sending us an email. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. That's really helpful, and I hope people found that helpful as well there. I'm now going to hand over to Chris Price, who is Managing Director of Pecan, who actually run our Southwark Food Bank and our Peckham Pantry. And Chris is going to give a little bit of information about the right to food and how people can access food through this cost of living crisis. So Chris, over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Councillor Cryan. So I'm going to talk on behalf of the Southwark Food Action Alliance, which is a group of different food projects who work in partnership with the borough, looking at how we can enable access to food for people and how we enable dignity through that access. What I'm mainly going to do is talk through a list of different providers that are on the Southwark Food Action Alliance website, which is on the screen here, that you can access and get to. I will say straight away, this is an incomplete list. There will be more to go on, and we are currently going out and researching. So if you know of a project we haven't put on here, please get in touch and we will get them added onto the list so people have these different places they can go to. So if I can walk through these slides with you. Our next slide, this is showing the two larger food banks in the area, which is Southwark Food Bank, which is run by Pecan, and Spring Community Hub as well. Both of these are referral projects, so you need to go through a referral agency to come to them. You can contact both projects to find out how to do that. And what they will do is they will enable people to get at least 3 days worth of food, ensuring that you get nutritional meals for 3 days. So three times three on that one there, and most likely a lot more than that as you go through there. Again, it's a referral process, but referrals are extremely quick. So please do get in touch with them. On our next slide, I'm going to be talking about some of our pantries that are in the borough. Pantry is a different way of getting food. They are predominantly not a referral pathway, so these are open to the community. And what you do at these is you pay a set amount every time you visit, so it's a membership scheme. At Peckham Pantry, it's £4.50. You then choose 10 sets of items of food. They will have a minimum value of £15, and that could easily go up to £30, depending what's available on the day. And for that, you have no referral. You just sign up to be a member and you are part of the scheme, and you can turn up whenever you like from there as well. So it's very much open to the community. The addresses are on here. They're open 6 days a week in Peckham Park Road, 1 day a week in St Luke's Church as well. And then you've got Love North Southwark is another community pantry. Again, you pay £5 and you get 12 sets of items. You do need to book an appointment with them, so please do contact Heather, and it's an amazing experience you get at that one. On our next page, we've got a couple more here, which is the Borough Food Collective at St George the Martyr Church up on Borough High Street. Again, they're open 3 days a week, and you can just turn up and join in with the shopping. The newest one to open is Paxton Pantry on the Kingswood Estate, and that's open on a Tuesday, and they are getting really good number of people coming along. And what people are doing when they come along to those is they choose their own food and they are saving money every single time they're coming in. So it actually makes your money go a lot further. Next are looking at places where people can go to get free food. These are predominantly non-referrals, so you can just turn up. The Camberwell Community Fridge at the Albrighton Centre is an amazing place. We can go along. There is always a good choice of food there. It's never guaranteed what you will get or the amounts that you'll get there, but you know, it's an absolutely amazing experience. They're open 4 days a week in the afternoons. You've then got the Redeemed Assemblies as well on the Old Kent Road. They're open in the mornings on there for 6 days a week. And Divine Rescue on in Walworth at Manor Place. Again, it's by appointment only, so please do give them a call first of all on that one. You've then got the RCCG Winners Temple, which is on Ilderton Road. Again, open on a Sunday for that one. Holy Trinity with St Matthew's. And this one is especially good for people who are Spanish speaking, because they have Spanish speaking volunteers there, and it's predominantly a Spanish speaking, or they have a Spanish congregation within the church as well. And then UCKG in Peckham are open again on a Saturday morning, and you'll see them come up again where you can also get a free meal in one of the next pages. Another place where you can go and get a community fridge is the Walworth Living Room in Surrey Square, and that is also in there a low-cost cafe within that offer. So you get a real good offer there, and they have so many other activities going in there as well to really support people through this time. Places to go for meals. So this isn't where you get food to take away and cook, but this is where food is cooked for people, and these create amazing community. Whenever you go to these, there will always be people to chat to. And we've got here, the first one is City Hope Church up in Bermondsey. You've then got All Saints Church Cafe, which is on a Tuesday morning, and the Manor Centre, which is open 7 days a week for people to go in. Anyone who's in need. It works with a lot of homeless people as well. Not only do you get your breakfast and lunch through them, you can look at showers, clothing, and essentially welfare advice and medical care is on offer in there as well. Our next one is the Castle Canteen at the new Crossways United Reformed Church. And again, there's a meal there. It is free, but they also appreciate donations to help the money go a bit further. Another amazing organisation is Food Cycle, and they're based in Peckham, again at All Saints Church. And they're providing 2 meals, one on a Wednesday and one on a Saturday afternoon as well. This Saturday, I'm not too sure if they're going to have the football on. At the same time, you'll have to find out. You've got the Weber Day Centre as well, again, providing service across 5 days a week as well. So please do contact them in advance, as some of it is just a sessional drop-in on there. Then we've got our last page of information here is the RCCG Winners Temple. Again, they are providing meals for people on a Sunday morning or Sunday early afternoon. Holy Trinity with St Matthew's are doing the same. And again, the UCKG. These are the all the offers that we've got currently live. But what I would say is there are many more that are around. There are amazing small organisations, community and estate-based organisations who are also supporting people. What is absolutely needed for all of them is they need access to food. So if you're in a position where you can help them to access food, that will be great. If you're in a position to help them access funding, that will also really help this to go further. If you are looking for food, each and every single one of these will provide a warm welcome. And on top of that, there are the warm spaces, which you can find information available on the council's website, and look out for different faith groups who are also opening up additional warm spaces across the borough. Thank you. If there's any way you can get involved, please do. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and I hope people found that information very helpful as well. I think we're now going to go into our panel. So our previous speakers will form part of that panel, and they will be joined by Karen Shaw, who is the Head of Housing Solutions at Southwark Council, Chris Williamson, who is Head of Public Health Intelligence at Southwark Council, and Councillor Evelyn Akoto, who is our Cabinet Member for Health and Wellbeing. I just want, before we start the panel, and thank you to everybody who's already asked questions. I'm conscious of the fact that people may have been joining throughout the event today, throughout the webinar. For anybody who does wish to ask a question, there should be there is a specific button for that on your device, which says Q&A. If you can pop your question into that, and then we will be able to then actually look at those questions and feed questions into our panel. Can I ask for all our panelists, can you please turn your cameras on so that our lovely residents can see your faces when being asked a question as well around that. So that's absolutely great. Thank you so much. So we've already had some questions through, as I said, and thank you to everybody who has done that as well. So if you can just bear with me. The first question I've got is, if you're not entitled to benefits, but you're still struggling, where can you get help? Tim, I'm going to come to you first. If you could talk to people about help and support people could get around their energy bills and energy advice.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, that is a problem in the sense that a lot of additional financial support that's been announced is targeted at people on benefits. However, there is financial support that's available for people who aren't on benefits, and the Southwark Cost of Living Fund is just such an example. And if you come to us or you come to a whole range of different local voluntary and community sector organisations, we can help you make a referral for some financial support through that fund. There are also other financial support that's available that we can talk you through. We can look at, the income that you currently have and your outgoings, and we can look at other sources of financial support that might be available. But I would encourage you to reach out to us, to call us, to come to one of our drop-ins, and we can provide you with more detailed advice for your particular circumstances.
Thank you, Tim. And Eugene, I'm going to come over to you. Could you let people know in terms of financial support what is available there? Because obviously energy bills are only just a big part of the cost of living crisis, but we do know that there are other, people do need to be able to access the support that they're entitled to.
That's right, and Tim mentioned the community referral pathway to the cost of living fund that's already open. We've already received more than 2,000 referrals from Citizens Advice and some of those other community partners that I mentioned in the presentation earlier. So that's proving to be a really effective way of people getting support. And when we designed the community referral pathway, it was with people who are outside the benefit system. People are not claiming benefits. People are not eligible for benefits in mind. We recognise some work that's been done that in fact, it's people in that situation, people on quite low incomes or insecure incomes or erratic incomes who are in perhaps the most vulnerable situations as we move into the winter, because they're not going to be getting some of that government support that I touched on in the presentation earlier. So community referral pathway is there. Tim's given an excellent summary of how people can access support through that route. And from January, any resident who finds themselves in need, whether they're receiving benefits or not, will be able to apply directly to the council for help through the cost of living fund. So just a quick word in terms of the form that support takes. So it's a flat rate payment of £100. It's paid in the form of a post office payout voucher. We'll send that by post or email where we can. It's a bit quicker to get it out if we send it by email. So if the email address is provided at the point of referral or the point of application, we can provide the support more quickly. That post office payout voucher is redeemable at any post office counter. We think we've got 28 post offices that are easily accessible by Southwark residents. So it's a simple and easy way to obtain that support. Once you receive it, take the voucher along to the post office, present the letter with a proof of ID, and you'll be able to redeem that voucher for a fixed rate payment of £100 in cash that you can use to top up your prepayment meter, to pay for food, to use in whatever way you deem most appropriate given the particular circumstances that you face.
Thanks, Eugene. I'm just going to ask a supplemental follow-on question from that. In terms of the community referral pathway, how will people who are on this webinar this evening know how to find somebody who is able to make that referral through the community referrals pathway? I'm thinking obviously all ward councillors and the three MPs in the borough are referrers, can refer people around that. But could you give some of the organisations across the borough, not all of them because I know there are over 50, but some of the larger organisations across the borough that people could go along to as part of that community referral pathway to access support before it comes open to everybody, people can apply themselves in January?
Well, the major advice providers in Southwark, the food banks, in Southwark. I mean, clearly there's a wide range of organisations, after school clubs, just an incredibly wide range of community-based organisations based right across the borough. We now have well over 50 partners. That number is increasing all of the time. There's a wide range of support out there, in that sense. So I mean, it's difficult to provide a full list. I mean, you've mentioned ward members and MPs, who are all of whom are referral partners. So many routes in for people looking to be referred. Citizens Advice, as kind of Tim mentioned earlier, as a social referrals, and clearly that's something we would certainly expect to see offered to many of the people who take advantage of the new Southwark Energy Saver service that opened last week. Thank you,
Eugene. I've got another question now. So people who live in council blocks where the heating has gone off, what more help can they get? And Karen, I'm going to come over to you. I'm conscious of the fact we don't actually have anyone on this call who actually deals with district heating systems or heating systems, but as you work in the housing department, Karen, I'm going to field that question over to you if there's any answers you can give to help with that support for people.
Sure, I'll do the best I can, and I think it's fair to say we're very aware that some of our communal heating systems might be old and might benefit from investment or upgrade, which would make them more effective. And as part of our asset management strategy, we are looking at how we prioritise those that are most in need of that investment or upgrade works. That I know doesn't help people immediately. It will help people in the medium to longer term, but there is lots of support around energy bills and other discretionary support at the moment, which hopefully people can leverage in if they're struggling around support with their communal heating bills. And I will take away from this meeting the feedback about the contributions that people make to communal heating, to see what more we might be able to consider in terms of an offer around that for tenants. And I would just like to say as well, I think that, you know, where people are struggling with that, those kind of issues, your resident services officer on your estates is somebody you should be talking to, and they can help to get you advice from whatever parts of the broader housing service you might need.
Thank you, Karen. And I also say, if anybody is in that situation, also ward councillors are able to help as well on around that. So obviously always email your ward councillors. We are always able to help and support in that as well. Okay, I've got another question, and Eugene, this is for you. With the Southwark Cost of Living Fund, once a referral or an application has been completed, what's the time frame an applicant can expect to have an answer and possibly help?
It depends on how the referral is made. So I mean, where an email address is provided, we can do that probably within 2 or 3 days of the referral. If we don't have an email address, it's likely to take a bit longer because we need to send it through the post. And even though we send it first class, what we're seeing is that it's taking up to 3, 4, 5 working days for that to reach the recipient. So yeah, I mean that hopefully gives a sense of what people's expectations should be when a referral is made.
Thank you. And if anybody has put in an application they haven't heard, what's the best way for them to actually chase that up around that? You know, I hope things don't get stuck in the system, but just in case there's an application that has. And I'm actually, Brenda, I'm going to come to you because I'm conscious of the fact that Eugene's answered all the questions on this and you're here to help and support on this panel as well. So Brenda, if I pass over to you, if somebody has waited sort of a longer time than usual for this support, what options do they have to be able to make sure that their application is being looked at and processed?
So I would first go back to the actual referral agency they went to, just to confirm with them what's happening. And if they're not able to get through to them, contact us at the council. So we have the local support team here, and we'll be able to assist them. If they provide us with their name, address, the date that they made the application, then we'll be able to look into it. And also provide us with the contact details so we can actually contact them once we've established what's happening.
Thank you. That's really helpful, Brenda. My next question, Evelyn, is for you. What is a warm space and how can people find their nearest warm space?
Thank you for that question. So warm spaces are places where people can gather for free in a warm, safe, welcoming place, and maybe enjoy a hot drink, a meal, and some company. We know a lot of our residents, especially those who are vulnerable, will find it hard this winter to put their heating on because of the rising costs or put food on the table. And so this, alongside all the help that has already been mentioned, is to continue to help our residents manage and get through this, the next year or so, which is going to be quite difficult for a lot of people. So I'm proud to say we've established over 30 warm spaces in Southwark, some catering to older people and some for individuals and families. So we have places like libraries, we have theatres, so many different places that people can gather and socialise. So warm spaces in Southwark is different, and some will be running activities, and some, as I've said, will be providing food. What I will say to everyone, if you want to know more about where your local warm spaces are, because what we've done is trying to ensure that every locality around the borough has a warm space to cater for needs. So I will ask everyone to visit southwark.gov.uk/heat here to help for a full list of more than 30 warm spaces. And we have a map actually that you can see where it's dotted to help in locating your nearest warm space.
Thank you very much. I have another question, and that's about obviously food. Many of our school children get free school meals. Well, all of our children get free school meals in Southwark. We are one of only 4 boroughs that actually provide free healthy school meals for all primary school children. But we do know that for some children, holiday hunger is a real issue. For some families, they really struggle to feed their children during the holiday period. Really conscious of that, we're coming up to the Christmas holiday period. Again, what support is available for families who are really struggling to feed their children at over school holidays? I'm going to start first of all with Chris Price on that one, and then I may move over to Evelyn and then Chris Williamson as well on that one. But Chris, if you could just give us, what support that you're aware of is there for families who are going to have a really rough Christmas and are really struggling during the school holidays.
Yeah, there are a number of holiday schemes that are going on. A lot are being promoted through the schools. So if people are trying to find out, talk to your school about it. You'll find the information there. They're on the council's websites. All the different food organisations are doing different things to support families, especially over that Christmas period. There are some handing out vouchers, some handing out meals as well to take people over there. So get in contact with us, find out what's happening in different places so that we can make sure that people are connected up to the right schemes in there as well. We are also, as part of the Southwark Food Action Alliance, putting together a list of the organisations that will be open over the Christmas period. We'll make sure that that's on our website, and we'll be encouraging other organisations to put it onto theirs. So it's going to be on the PCAN website, so people can see where they can access stuff during that time. So it's always a hard time. This year we recognise it will be harder. We have made a decision at Peckham Pantry that we will be open during that time as well.
Thank you, Chris. Evelyn, is there anything that you'd like to add about our holiday food and fun, the council's holiday food and fun programme?
Loads. Just one thing also, we have free healthy school meal for our nurseries as well. We mustn't forget our nursery provision. So holiday food and fun, what we do have, which we've been doing for the past 3 years, especially in Easter, summer and winter, we do our holiday food and fun programs. So I think in winter, we're going to start on the 20th of December to the 30th of December. So a good few weeks, and we're providing a place whereby parents can bring their children in a safe environment. They will be fed throughout the process, and there'll be a place and there'll be activities as well. And we've been putting this on to ensure, really to combat holiday hunger, because we know it's a grave issue within the borough. So what I will say to all parents on here, please do go on our website, get the information where your nearest food and fun activity is, and bring your kids. I think it's an invaluable thing to do. And the one thing I will say is, well, what we do tend to do is when at the end of the day or at the end of the week, we give a take-home box with every child, and they could take home and try different recipes where the family can cook together. These are free food as well. So every little bit help, and we're doing our best to really combat the food insecurity in the borough.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to another question, which Chris Williamson, I hope you'll be able to answer. So we know that there are a lot of public health, the work that public health is doing around cost of living is really getting deep into the causes and around sort of for health and well-being around that. I know that one of the issues we see are people in the private rented sector who are living in very, many people living in overcrowded situations, rent spiralling and that. Could you tell me from a public health perspective what type of work the council's doing to look at the health and well-being of private renters and working with landlords to drive those standards up? Oh, I can't hear you, Chris.
Can you
Sorry.
hear me now?
Yeah.
sorry, there's a whole range of work public health are doing around the cost of living and how we can support residents in a whole range of settings and housing situations. We've touched on some of the work that's been mentioned there around holiday hunger, particularly focusing on children and young people and their families. And we're very conscious of the impact of the cold on people's health and exacerbating long-term conditions. So we're working really closely with colleagues in the NHS to think about what more they can do to support residents with health and well-being through the winter period, but also as we go forward in what's going to be a challenging kind of period ahead in the next couple of years. In terms of the any support residents need around accessing health from the NHS, there's further details on our website in terms of talking to your pharmacy if you feel there's exacerbations around your long-term conditions or you need support and advice around access to medications and so on, and links through to your GP as well. And we're working closely with primary care colleagues on how best they can support residents.
Thank you, and I think it's really important that we do recognise the fact that the cost of living crisis doesn't just impact people financially. It does impact on people with existing health conditions. It impacts it impacts on people's mental health and well-being around that. So it's really good to know that there's joined up work along with pharmacies and GP surgeries as well. I think no one organisation has the overall solution to supporting people with cost of living crisis. It is about working in partnership. It is about us all pulling together for the common good to help as many people as possibly we can. So it's really good to hear some of those initiatives that public health are leading on around that. And I know from conversations I've had that you absolutely, public health, it is your top priority as well on that. So I think that's the questions that we've received, and can I just say to everybody who submitted a question, thank you very much around that. I think we've had a real variation of questions that covers many different themes, but all about the cost of living. And I think that just shows how complex and far-reaching this cost of living crisis is. It doesn't just affect one area. It absolutely has an impact on absolutely everything around that. So thank you for your questions. We have had some comments in the Q&A about the slides from presenters and whether we can share those slides. Yes, we can. If you have your email from when you registered, we will be able to send those to you around that. Obviously, if you didn't, we really won't be able to, but we will be sharing those slides where possible. And as I've said, we do aim to put this onto the council's YouTube channel. So if there's any information that you missed or any slides that you want to see and you can just pause it and take that information, obviously please do so as well on that. I'm going to I also understand that some users couldn't access the Q&A button, and I'm really, really sorry about that. It's just how it works sometimes with technology and different types of devices as well. So can I say that if you do have a question and you weren't able to put that in the chat, please do send those emails, those questions over to us. I'm going to get an email before we go that you can do that. If you can contact Ella, that's ELLA.Sweeney, that's SWEENEY at southwark.gov.uk. Ella can collate those questions and she will be able to refer them to the right people to be able to answer those questions for you. So I don't want anyone to think that they've not had a chance or an opportunity to answer a question because they couldn't access the Q&A button. We will absolutely make sure we get back to you with your questions after this event as well, so that you get the answers for those questions that you would have liked to have asked but yeah, unfortunately that's what sometimes happens with technology. So I think all it is for me is to say, first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of our speakers and panelists. Actually, I've got one more question that's just come through. And actually it's for you, Karen. If someone is in temporary accommodation and they've got some issues and concerns around that, how do they get in touch with the council?
get my mic on then. Okay, yes, if you're in temporary accommodation and you've got any issues, you can contact the Housing Solutions Service. And the Housing Solutions Service have a team that deal with our placements into temporary accommodation, and whether that's about difficulties you might be experiencing in relation to any conditions at your property or anything else that's not working, if you contact us in Housing Solutions, we'll see what we can do to problem solve any issues with you and give you further advice and support. The placements team will have, within Housing Solutions, will have placed you there, and you can contact those, or you can contact our gateway service through the link on the website, and they'll make sure you get an answer to your problem.
So it was helpful. Took my mic off, wasn't it? Thank you so much. Just to say that all the information that we've been speaking about today, and any support can be found on our website at southwark.gov.uk, and if you click on the Here to Help, that will bring you to all the help and support that's available there, so you can look at what what you can access around that. So would advise, recommend that everybody just have a little look at that as well. As I said, we will be sending those slides out. It will be Ella who's sending those slides out, so you will have Ella's address for anybody who had a question who couldn't access the Q&A. Please do reply to Ella when she sends the slides out to you. I just want to say thank you to all of our speakers and panelists for today. I think we've had a lot of information. It has been a lot of information in a very short period of time, but thank you for actually coming today and actually letting our residents know what is available and what support is available for them. I also want to say thank you to everybody who signed up today and has joined us today to come to this webinar. I hope you found it helpful. And we know that the cost of living crisis is not going to be over. It's something that's going to stay with us for quite a while. So we are going to look to see if we can run similar webinars in the new year as well. So please do look out for that, because we are looking to see how much we want to give as much information to residents as possible to help support you. So we will be doing future events, and so please do keep an eye out for that. What I would also say is that a lot of our ward councillors we have what's called ward forums, and a lot of ward councillors across the borough, wherever you live, the ward forums are running sessions around cost of living crisis. So I recommend you go, if you're able to go along to them as well. There will be information there and the opportunity to ask questions at those as well. But I'm going to say thank you to everybody. I'm going to leave that there, and as I said, all the information we've discussed will be available. We will send it all out to you, and have a lovely evening. Thank you.